Hello, hi, welcome once again to M5's English language learning program, Let's Speak English. I'm Gav Duncan and I'm here on your TV to help you learn English. Now, are you sitting comfortably? Yes? Good. And are you ready for today's lesson? Yes? Good. Okay. Well, let's learn English together. Okay. We're back in the studio and we're all excited about today. Why? What do you mean, why? You're seriously asking the question why we're excited about today? Good Godfrey! Great Godfrey! Do you know what day it is? No? What in the name of blinking flip do you mean no? It's Friday! Friday, the last day of the working week, the beginning of all the fun. Yes, my gentle gnus of the garden, today marks the beginning of all the fun of the fair, the weekend. Time to let your hair down. Well, it's not time to let your hair down just yet. Wait until after today's lesson, and then you can start getting ready to enjoy yourself at the weekend, because it's almost here. The weekend is coming. Hark! The weekend approaches, sire. And we'd better start warming up. Let's get ready to dance like this. Well, maybe not like that. That was terrible. I think I need to wash my eyes with toothpaste. Okay, let's try and forget what we've just seen. Let's get back to the show. Right, now it's the last day of the week. It's Friday and we're here in the studio, ready to learn some new prepositions and practice the ones we already know. Okay, let's start with some new ones, shall we? Okay, and which new ones are we going to have a look at today? Well, what about for? So, last lesson, or the lesson before last, that was yesterday. Yesterday, all my troubles seemed so far. Sorry, it wasn't then. It was the day before, wasn't it? Yes, it was the day before yesterday. All my troubles, sorry. Okay. 2 days ago. That's better. So we met the prepositions of time during and while, didn't we? Yes. And we know that when we use during and while, we're talking about something happening at the same time as something else. Something happened in a period of time. We know that if we use while, we have to follow it with a verb. And we also know that if we use during, we have to follow it with a noun. During the war, I lived underground in the kingdom of the mole people. While I was walking down the road, a meteor fell on a kid in the street. Okay, so we know about those two. Now, let's have a look at something else. If we want to use a preposition to communicate how long we did something, then we use for, not during. We use for and add a period of time to indicate how long something lasted, how long we did something. We never use during with a period of time. It doesn't work. I played squash with my wife during 2 hours yesterday. I played squash with my wife for 2 hours yesterday. Bing! I lived in London during 23 years. I lived in London for 23 years. Bing! So, have a look at these sentences and fill the gaps in the sentences with either for, during, or while. Number 1. My grandma and grandpa had a big argument in 1964. After that, they didn't speak to each other 34 years. They only started talking to each other again in 1998. Then they both died. Number 2, Doodaloo, my grandparents' funeral, my cousin fell into the grave and broke his ankle. Number 3, doodaloo, we were at the wedding. A fight started between the bride and groom's families. Number 4, the judge sent the bank robbers to jail. Doodaloo, 34,521.5 years. Number 5, do you ever watch films? Doodaloo, you're eating your dinner. Number 6, I went on holiday to Somalia. Doodaloo, 2 weeks. Unfortunately, some strange militia kidnapped me and kept me in a box for 13 years. Doodaloo, I was in the box. I wrote 3 books. Number 7, I never watch TV. Doodaloo, the day. Okay, so what do you think? Are you ready to check them? Of course you're ready. Let's check them all together. Okay, let's start at the start. Let's begin at the beginning. Okay, so what have you got for number 1? Well, it's the story of my grandparents and a really big argument. I think that the argument was about what to watch on TV. My grandma wanted to watch the Wheel Tappers and Shunters Social Club New Year's special on Granada. But my grandpa wanted to watch the wrestling with Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks. So, you can see that it was a pretty dramatic argument, real life and death stuff, a very important argument. All right, well, the cause of the argument isn't important, but the preposition is. We know that the preposition is followed by a period of time. And we also know from the sentence that we're talking about how long something lasted. So the answer is 4. My grandma and grandpa had a big argument in 1964. After that, they didn't speak to each other for 34 years. They only started talking to each other again in 1998. Then they both died. All right, so we've completed the first one. Let's have a look at number 2. Well, with number 2, we can see that we're talking about something happening when something else is happening. So we know that it's either while or during. Good. Now, who remembers the difference between using while and during? Yes, if we're using while, then we follow the preposition with a verb. And if we're using during, we follow the preposition with a noun. Now, have another look at sentence number 2 and tell me, is the gap followed by a verb or is the gap followed by a noun? It's a noun, isn't it? Yes, it's my grandparents' funeral. It's a noun. And that means what? Yes, that's correct. Because the preposition is followed by a noun, we know that the preposition is during. During my grandparents' funeral, my cousin fell into the grave and broke his ankle. Great, well done. Okay, time to look at number 3. And it's very similar to number 2, isn't it? Yes, it's the same idea. It's the idea of something happening when something else is happening. So, it's either while or during. Now, what comes after the gap? Is it a noun, like in question 2, or is it a verb? It's a verb, isn't it? Yes, it's a verb. And this tells us what? Correct-a-doodle-doo. This tells us that the correct preposition is while. We follow while with a verb, and we follow during with a noun. So, in this sentence, it can't be during, it has to be while. While we were at the wedding, a fight started between the bride and groom's families. Great! Well, no, it's not actually great, is it? When you're getting married, you don't really want a fight to start, do you? Imagine your wedding day, everything's lovely, everything's beautiful, and then your family and your new spouse's family ruin everything by having a fight. Terrible. Okay, let's forget about fighting in-laws and move on to number 4, shall we? All right, number 4, a judge sentencing bank robbers. So, the bank robbers went into a bank, robbed the bank, they took the money from the bank, but then the police caught them and now they're in court. The judge has decided that they're guilty, and the judge has decided that they need to be punished. They need to be sent to jail. And we're talking about a period of time. So yes, that's right. The preposition we need is for. The judge sent the bank robbers to jail for 34,521.5 years. Good gravy. That's a long sentence, isn't it? Okay, away from the courtroom and back to the sentences. Now, let's have a look at number 5, shall we? It's the two ideas at the same time again. So, we know that it's either while or during, and the preposition is followed by a verb. You're eating. So that means what? Which preposition do we follow with a verb, and which preposition do we follow with a noun? Spot on. Yes, during is followed by a noun. So during's not the correct preposition here. The preposition we need is while. While is followed by a verb, so while is the right answer. Do you ever watch films while you're eating your dinner? Brilliant. Number 6. Where are you? Ah, there you are, 6. Ooh, and there's 2 prepositions in number 6. Okay, let's look at the first one first, shall we? Oh, and it's an easy one, isn't it? Yes. We're talking about a period of time, aren't we? Which means it can only be for. Good. I went on holiday to Somalia for 2 weeks. Good. Okay. Now, what about the second preposition? Well, there we're talking about 2 things happening at the same time. So it's either while or during, isn't it? And is the preposition followed by a noun? No? No. Okay, so that tells us that it can't be during. During is always followed by a noun, and while is always followed by a verb. So, the second part of sentence number 6 is while. I went on holiday to Somalia for 2 weeks. Unfortunately, some strange militia kidnapped me and kept me in a box for 13 years. While I was in the box, I wrote 3 books. Magic. And now, yes, that's right, Kiddywinks. It's time for the last sentence. It's time for us to check sentence number 7. Are you all ready for the last sentence? Yes? Good. Okay, so look at the sentence. It's another sentence with 2 things happening at the same time. So we know that the correct preposition is either while or during, don't we? Okay. Now, in this final sentence, is the preposition followed by a verb? No? Well then, this means that the correct preposition can't be while, can it? No. While is always followed by a verb, and during is always followed by a noun. And here, there's a noun, so it must be during. I never watch TV during the day. Brilliant! Well done! And just in time. Yes, that's right. We're out of time. Our 15 minutes has come to an end. So, if you want more English lessons, you'll have to get yourself onto the internet and go to www.m5tv.hu. That's where you can check out all our old lessons. And that's where you can find all the most important vocabulary too. Okay, that's all from me and the crew. So I'll say goodbye. Goodbye! Have a great weekend. Relax, enjoy yourselves, and I'll see you again on Monday. Have fun. See you later. Bye!